Lo caliente del sol que se te metió y no te deja quieta, nena. ¿Quién puede parar eso que al bailar descontrola tus caderas? Y ese fuego que quema por dentro.
Everyone, and happy FFA week. Welcome to the Building Connections workshop. We are super excited that you're here with us today to talk a little bit about connections and how we can use these in our everyday lives and as FFA members. So with that being said, we are going to get to know each other a touch more by sharing our name and our FFA chapter. Okay, so that's our name and our chapter. Joe, will you kick us off, please?
Of course. My name is Joe Schleiss, and I am from the Denmark FFA.
Awesome. I'll go next, and then we'll popcorn around. Hi, everyone. I am Carissa Clement, and I am from the Toma FFA. That's okay. If our mics don't work, let's type it in the chat, and we can talk for you.
Hi, I'm Madison, and I'm from Portage FFA.
Awesome. Awesome. I see we have Layla from Adam's Friendship. Layla, am I saying that right? Yeah? Awesome. Okay, and one more.
Hi, I'm James. I'm from the Rice Lake FFA chapter.
Hello, James. How's it going?
Good.
Good. Okay. So with that, now that we know each other more, don't worry. I know we just know our names and chapters. We are going to expand upon it throughout our workshop. But in order to kick this off, we are going to get moving. So we're going to be following a pattern. Now, this pattern is going to be done with arm motions. So Joe's going to put the pattern up on the screen shortly. But what we need to know is that our left arm can go up, down, and to the side. And our right arm can go up, down, and forward, straight in front of us. Okay, so as we see here on this slide, we have 11 different sets of arm movements. And so this pattern is one we're going to try to learn and do together. So first we're going to try it, the first 3 together, and then we're going to take some time to practice, and then we'll come back and do it. So let's do the first 3 together. We'll walk through and then see if there's any questions. So we have our left arm up for number 1 and our right arm down. Let's see that. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, then we switch. Left arm to the side, right arm up. Yeah, and then number 3 is left arm up, right arm forward. Awesome. So we're gonna keep doing these, and we wanna try to move our arms at the same time. We're gonna take some time to practice. Does anyone have any questions before we do that? Nada, lima nada. Awesome. So let's go ahead. We'll take a couple minutes, practice this, and then we'll come back and do it all together to a beat. Time is yours.
I've been singing the same old songs. They remind me where I belong. Thinking I'm not the guy you used to know. Maybe I should let it be. Hanging on to a dead end dream. Broken hearted, the scars are still with me.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll be lost but not forgotten. This time it's all or nothing. And I will make this count for something. All I wanted to be a shadow on a perfect night. From the fire of a million lights. And I'll be lost but not forgotten. By a million lives.
I kind of go with the music. All right, everyone. So what we're going to do is we are now going to try to see how well we are at completing the task of following all 11. We're going to try to do it together, and we're going to try to do it at the same beat. So we're all going to have the same amount of time to do all 11 actions. How this will work though, is that I'm going to count off. So I will count off and I will say 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go back to 1. And that is when you're going to make the number 1 action at the top of the list. So I'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And that's when I say 1 the second time, that's when we're going to start the actions up. I'm going to stay consistent throughout the entire workshop or throughout the entire time. So we'll all have the same amount of time. And if you fall behind, just try to catch up as fast as you can. Pay attention to how many actions you get correct when I say the number. Are there any questions? If there are no questions, we will begin, okay? So I'm going to get prepared here. Okay, just remember, when I say 1 the second time, that's when we're going to begin with our actions. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. How do we do here? Let's go through. How many did you get? James, how many did you get? 5? Okay, 5. Well, that's better than me because I don't think I got 5. Maybe I got 2. Probably it. How about Madison or Layla? 5 too? Okay. Madison, how about you? 6. Okay, Carissa, how many did you get?
This time I got 8. So that was really exciting. This was, you
Oh.
guys, this was after 5 tries though. Okay, we've done this 5 times. So had a
Yeah,
little bit of practice.
maybe we had a little advantage, but we still didn't even do as good as you.
No,
So
no.
that's okay. When we think about what we just did, there were 3 things that stayed constant. What were the 3 things that stayed the same throughout the whole entire activity? Let's list those off. And you can unmute for this as well.
Or type it in the chat too if our mic's not working. Type in chat, unmute.
Right. That we used our arms. Okay, so we both had the same amount of arms, right? Okay, agreed. What else was there?
We use a rhythm.
Right, the same beat. You had that rhythm there. Same amount of time to do every single action. We also had the same amount of time to practice. Okay, so that's 1. What's a second one? Was the same that each of us had?
What was I doing there? Where am I here? What are those?
Hand gestures? I don't know.
No, we had the same amount of hand gestures, same amount of actions. We worked together, right? Our arms worked together to make it happen. The last thing, and that kind of goes with what we just mentioned, is we had the same number of gestures as well. So we had the same, each gesture was the same, and we had the same amount of gestures, and we had the same amount of time. Those are the 3 things that stayed constant. Now, what was the one thing that was different between all of us?
What did we do differently?
Okay, so Layla had in the chat, we were all different people. Okay, that's a start. We're all different. How were we all different?
We
Arm
got
movement?
some of the arm movements and we didn't get some of the others.
Okay, so some of us had different arm movements. James, did you mention something?
Arm length?
Arm lengths. Okay, we all have different arm lengths and capabilities. Agreed. So, seeing that we all got a different amount of hand gestures, we all kind of learned them or learn the different actions, the same amount of actions in a different way. For me, personally, it took a little bit longer to get some of the gestures than everyone else. So when we look at those same actions and we think about those in our own life, think about actions in our life, like joining organizations like FFA, joining sports, being a part of other clubs in our communities, maybe doing specific hobbies. When you do those actions in life, or when you do similar actions in life, everyone else still has some sort of different outcome. And when we make those similar connections in that, and I guess whether that might be that I know from my history and background from meeting with James before, for example, you're interested in choir, not choir, band, clarinet. I know you play the clarinet really well. We've got a performance before. But when we take advantage of the opportunities or the more opportunities in our organizations, that's really when we have the ability to connect with more people, because we're becoming and we're doing more actions to find similar actions with other people. So we're going to see how this connection and how the different actions, how we did similar actions, how we can connect now. Since we all have experienced doing this activity, we're going to see how all our other experiences also can connect each one of us.
Right. And in order to be able to connect, we have to have those similar things, those similar interests, just like Joe was telling us. So now that we have that, we're going to brainstorm and dive deeper into different ways we develop connections with others, whether that be with our fellow FFA members, whether that be with family or friends. We're going to think about those ways where we can develop those connections even more as we go throughout our life. So how this is going to work, we are going to use something called a word cloud. Word clouds are super awesome because that gives all of our answers into one pretty picture. So Joe is going to put a link in the chat. This link, if you click it, will take us to a website with some boxes. We're going to fill in our answers to that question. What are some ways we can develop connections? Okay, so we're going to put our ways of developing connections in those boxes, press submit, and we'll see the words pop up on our screen. So Joe put the link in the chat. Go ahead and click that link, and we will take a little time to do this. Are there any questions? No? Awesome. Okay, take some time, fill those out, and then we will come back in a minute.
Oops, sorry.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back your. There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain. When I believed in forever and everything would stay the same. Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name. Cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know I will one day. Hey. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Hey, hey. But everything gon' be alright. Gonna raise a glass and say, hey. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through.
Okay, let's take
Toast to the ones in today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories.
Okay, awesome. So with that being said, look at all these amazing ways that we develop our connections. Oh my goodness. What? Oh, there's some even more. Great job with those. Yes. What are some responses that we see here in front of us that are similar or the same? What are some of them that are similar?
Talking and by talking to each other.
Yeah, talking. I see that from Layla and Madison. Why is talking so important when we connect? Why is it so important to talk when we're connecting? What does it allow us to do? When we are trying to build those relationships, right? We get to know more about each other. Exactly, Layla. We put that in the chat. We get to know more about each other and maybe share some of those stories. Now, also looking at these words in front of us, why do we think there's so many different answers here? Why are there so many different answers? Feel free to just unmute or type it in the chat. Why are there so many different answers here in front of us? Do we all connect in the same way all the time? I see some head shakes. No, we don't, right? So there are so many different ways for us to make these connections happen. To start the communication, maybe that's sharing stories or having friendships, being kind, writing letters, so many different ways. Now, how do we apply this to being a leader in FFA? How does knowing about this make us a leader in FFA, James? What do we think?
It helps us listen to other maybe other members and listen to their ideas and see what they want to say and listen to that, and you can talk back to them too.
Yeah, exactly, James. It allows us to see other perspectives and build upon those relationships to make them more meaningful so that we know our fellow FFA members, but also are able to help find things for them to do within the FFA or just share our stories of who we are with them. Wonderful. So these help in the FFA, but outside of the FFA as well. So now that we know a little bit about creating connections and developing those connections to be meaningful relationships, we are going to put this into action. So in order to do this, we are going to have our own conversations, and Joe is going to get this started for us. So Joe, go ahead and share with us how this is going to work.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we are going to get a list of questions that are going to be put in the chat. And those questions are going to be conversation starters. You will be broken up into partners. So there'll be 2 of you in a breakout room, and you will have to answer a list of questions that are going to be put in the chat. They're pretty basic, like what is your agricultural background? Where did you grow up? How did you get involved, or why did you join FFA? What other activities you do? But really this conversation is for you to engage with the other individual or partner so that you can go forth and kind of talk and learn a little bit more about them. So we're going to put those in the chat right now. Please take a note of them if you can. And we're then going to go into breakout rooms. In that breakout room, we're going to have roughly 2 minutes to have a conversation. I do know that, Layla, I know your mic is not working the best, so we'll use the chat option for that room. But otherwise, the other room, talk audio, we're all good with that. Are there any questions? Awesome. Well, let's head into those breakout rooms.
Go to one.
Yep, one. You're going to be with James.
I'm going to turn my volume on. Hello, James. How are you? Before we get started,
So, what's your agricultural background? My background is, well, most of my family were farmers, so
Okay, Madison, hopefully and Layla, you can hear me. So let's continue this
Yeah.
conversation. So
That's so cool.
looks like Layla, you
Um,
said you're from a farming beef cattle
that
with
you're
a little
trying
over
to
100
figure that out.
head,
And you're
and
bringing
then
that from, is it Guatemala?
Madison, you
Is it
said you grew up
Guatemala?
on a farm. Is that
Were
right?
you doing research with that there or no?
I didn't grow up on a farm, but most of my family did.
I turned my volume down.
Oh, okay. So
Okay, go
you
ahead.
said most of your family did. Is that your parents did or your relatives?
My uncle did, my dad did, my mom did, and my grandpa did,
That's so cool, James.
and grandma.
Wow.
So,
So is that why you joined
what other
FFA?
things are you doing with
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How about
This year.
Layla? Did you join FFA because of your background or what got you interested? Oh, you show beef cattle. Do you show at your county fairs? Yeah. Okay. That's what I figured. So I guess for the both of you, if you guys want to, if Madison wants to respond audio, and then Layla, if you want to, while we're doing that, we'll both respond on the chat too. Of what other activities do you guys do besides FFA?
Yeah.
I play softball and I do art and choir.
Okay. Layla,
Okay,
you
that's
said you
good.
played
You're gonna have to
sports
let us
too.
know
Do you do
does
softball at all, or
It's so fun.
which
I
ones?
wasn't in band, but I was in choir. and
Volleyball,
it's pretty
You
similar.
guys both
So,
play softball.
anything music
Okay.
is good.
Yeah, I remember last year I played against Aunt Adam's Friendship, but I don't know if I played against her team.
Have you been able to do band stuff at school?
How do you guys determine teams? Is it like a summer league, or how does that work?
You're quarantined right now? Oh no. Wait,
Yes.
because
Okay.
you're like in contact
Well,
with
if you
someone,
could
or-
continue this conversation, continue talking about softball,
Oh,
what you guys like about it.
how's that going?
Talk about maybe what your favorite animals are. You guys both live on a farm. There has to be other animals besides beef cattle. Talk about that.
Right.
I gotta go back into the main
Yeah,
session,
no, that makes
but
sense.
please
That's rough.
continue.
So do you do online class? Then are you online the whole time for classes?
I was playing 12U.
Hi, Megan.
Hi.
Yo,
How are you guys?
She doesn't have you.
we're good.
Habla en español.
Awesome. So what we're doing right now is they're in breakout rooms and they're just having a conversation. So they're almost done, and then we'll come back together and you guys are gonna pick up right from there. But actually, are there two of you?
Yeah,
Okay. So do you guys have something similar in common?
horses.
Horses. Okay. So
See,
what they're
yeah,
doing
so
right
I
now
actually minored
is
in Spanish at
they're
college.
answering these questions that I just
Yeah.
put in the chat. So if you guys want to answer those questions, hopefully you'll find something a little bit more similar on top of horses. And then we're gonna come back together probably in about a minute or less.
We've
So,
got a lot similar. We're best friends.
oh, okay. Well, that's good to know because this activity is gonna work awesome for this. So we'll give it probably a minute and a half. If you guys want to just chill out, talk,
To like meet.
all
somebody,
good
is
with
that what you're
me.
saying?
All right, holla at us when you're done.
Will do.
There's a time that I remember.
Okay, welcome. I hope that we had some good conversations. I know in my breakout room we had a really great one. So let us take some time and think about, were there any similarities that we had when we were chatting with our buddy? Do we have any similarities with them? Softball, I hear from Layla. Her and her buddy were into softball. Super cool. That's awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah. I guess Carissa likes music too. She's in choir also.
Yes, you got it, James. Love the music.
Hey, and then also there were two that joined us, and they're actually best friends. So they already made a connection before this.
Look at that. We're building upon it. That's amazing. Welcome. And we're glad you both love sledding and the snow. Yes, those are good times. It's actually been snowing out here today. But so those are great things to remember, and those connections that we have are going to only become more meaningful with this next activity. So we are going to make some origami. Does anyone know what origami is? I see James going, oh yeah. Yes, Layla's like, yes. Okay, so origami is making something out of paper, right? So we are going to make, oh, look at Joe showing his origami fish. Pretty cool. And we are going to make an origami that represents our buddy. So our partner that we were chatting with, we are going to make an origami that best represents them. However, it's okay. You don't have to think of it off the top of your head. We have Joe's going to put a link in the chat, and that link is going to take us to a Google slide of different images of origami. There, we're going to pick that image or thing that represents that person we were chatting with the best. Click on it. Once we click on it, it will take us to a video. In this video, or then you can watch that video and learn how to make that origami. So before we do that, we need some paper. So everybody, let's take 10 seconds and quickly find a piece of paper. Go. Paper. We need a piece of paper. Look at that. James has a piece of paper. We're getting a piece of paper. Joe's gonna put the origami link into the chat, and then we're going to be able to do that. Now, wait for people to get paper before we get there. Awesome, I see some people coming back. So, as we make this origami, we are going to shut our cameras off. Awesome, Layla, you've got your paper. So shut your camera off, go make your origami, and then come back when you're done.
All right, everyone, is everyone set to go? Oh, and if you made your own, Layla, because the video was blocked, oh, that's great. You must be really good at it because I don't even know how to make an origami at all. So, okay. So what we'll do is we are going to share what we made for our partner. We're just going to briefly share, just a few of us. Not everyone has to, but I think it'd be great. And to make sure that everyone shares with their partner, what's going to happen is we're going to go back into the breakout rooms. And we're going to go in the same Black River Falls. We're going to just stay in the main session, but everyone else is going to go into with their partner. And then I'll stay in the main session with Black River Falls. Any questions? So what you'll be doing is you're going to be sharing what you made and then the reasons why. You're only going to have a minute to make this happen. Okay. But before we do that, we have to have Carissa. She has to eat some chocolate. Okay. She eats a lot of chocolate. So we got to give her chocolate. Okay. Open rooms. There you go. Okay.
Hello again, James.
Do we have Megan?
What?
Oh. Okay. Hold on one second. Sorry, Megan. And let me get my earbuds in.
And then I can finish eating my chocolate.
Okay. What'd you guys say? I'm sorry.
Did I do like a diamond?
Okay. Oh, that's really good. Wow. Okay.
I did an airplane because I'm not special.
James, that's so awesome.
So for the diamond, do you have some sort of meaning behind it at all, or?
And you are, which is why
Because Aurora has a lot of potential, so it's kind of like
because
sparkles.
butterflies represent
Okay.
caring and happiness.
And Aurora, airplane.
Because they always leave the airport, and someday I know Megan's gonna leave me. So wise up sooner or later.
Showing that like love for other
Okay.
people,
Okay.
and willingness to
Are you
chat
guys?
with
So you guys are
them
just
and
best
make them
friends,
feel
or?
okay. And I just
Yeah, I taught her how to ride horse to begin with, and now she's my
they're
competition.
also willing to
That's the way to say
Oh.
thank you.
Okay, I see, I see. Well, that's nice. So we're gonna close breakout rooms and we're gonna have everyone come back in here quick. Just needed to share that.
I broke the airplane's nose.
Okay, we have to go. Bye. Thank you. You're sweet. Okay.
All right, everyone. Well, we are back in. Could someone just share briefly of what their partner said or talked about?
Layla said that she would have made me a crown if she had enough time, but she would have made me a crown because I'm cool like a queen.
Share.
Oh, that is so nice. Yes. Oh, Madison shared. Madison, Carissa was not able to hear. Could you just re-say that again?
Yeah. I said Layla would have made me a crown if she had enough time because she said I was cool like a queen.
Like Queen.
Aw.
Pretty cool.
So cool.
And Layla mentioned in the chat, she said she would make me sunglasses because I'm a cool person.
Mm.
Right. So we see those similarities, and I think that is a starting point that we can just build upon. But Carissa is going to give us actually some tips. Actually, we're all going to talk about
Yeah.
tips. But before we get into tips, there's one other thing. What do you think needs to happen before we go into tips? Does anyone have any guess? Any guesses?
No. Yes. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate makes people happy.
Okay. We declare our friendship. LOL. Okay. Layla wants to be friends with you. Sounds good. So we're going to go into benefits of connection. And let's see what we have here. Oh, that's not. Here we go. Here it is. There we go. Okay. So to start us off, what we have is we have 7 tips. If you want to write this down, that would be great if you could.
You can write it down on your origami
Right.
or a piece of paper.
If you want to write it down on your origami, that could work as well. So one of them, we're all going to share at least one if you like, but write down one I'm going to highlight. We're all just going to highlight one. Approach connection with no agenda. Keyword. If you want to write 2 words down, no and agenda. No agenda. Why do we say that? And what does that mean? Could someone give me the explanation of what that means? What do they think no agenda means? Approach connection with no agenda. Any ideas out there?
James, do you have an idea of what that? Oh, Layla.
Like you don't have something you want to get out of that person. That's exactly right. You're not approaching that conversation for the sole purpose of trying to get exactly or your want from them, what you desire and what's going to benefit you, that you're actually caring and about them and you're interested in them. Madison put, does it mean have no idea?
Yeah, Madison, you're
right. So going off of that is, what does it mean? Or does it mean you have no idea? Right. So going into it, having no agenda is something that you want to make sure that you know what you want to talk about them, but also make sure you have points that you can somehow find common interests on. Awesome. Carissa will share one.
Another one that's important to know is co-made, not self-made. So what this means is that we are not having these connections all by ourselves, right? We cannot make them happen all by ourselves. We need others. So how can we make sure that these connections happen with others? What are some ways we talked about that these connections can be made between others and ourselves? What do we think? What can we do? We can listen, right, to what people are saying. We can share our stories back and forth. Exactly. So, yeah, next, Megan and Aurora, would you like to share one of the ones on the screen?
Megan can go first and then I'll go after her.
Awesome.
One of them was gives you an opportunity to help others. Like, if somebody's trying to cross the street and they can't get across, you can try to help them.
Yeah, exactly, right? Connections, helping others is something that we really love in the FFA. That's something that we live for. We live to serve. So having these connections to help others, exactly, for sure. Did we say we had, is it Aurora next?
For mine, I was looking at the who knows you versus who you know one, or who you know versus who knows you one.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because it reminded me of a joke. And this guy and his friends are sitting around. He goes, I know everyone. He goes, Dave, you don't know everybody. He goes, okay, give me an example. And he goes, former President Barack Obama. He goes up to Obama's house and knocks on the door. Obama opens the door. Hey, Dave, it's been a while. Why don't you come in and hang out with us? And he's like, nah, I gotta go. My friend just didn't think I knew everyone. He's like, yeah, well, you don't know the Pope. And they go to the Pope's place and there's a huge line going out the front door. So he's like, I have to pass all these people because I know his bodyguards. You'll just have to stay out here. I'll come out on the balcony with him. He goes up there and he comes out on the balcony with the Pope as promised and comes back downstairs and his friend's laughing. He goes, what you laughing about? And he goes, that guy over there just pointed up to you guys at the balcony. He said, who's with Dave?
Yeah, exactly. You're so right? We want to make sure that we are making sure that we are there for others, and that's one way that they can know us and we can know them, for sure. Who would like to share next? One more. James, do you have one for us? Could you just read one that we haven't read, please?
Sure. I'll do people will never forget how you made them feel. So there's those like little life connections you have with people you meet. Like it could be like for a minute, it could be for like your whole life, for like 3 days or something. Like there's little impacts that people can do and you can do too that'll change people's lives too.
Yes, James, you are so right. And those are the moments that help us make sure that we have those connections that we need. So these are all great things to remember and reasons why we as leaders in FFA should create those connections and maintain them to keep meaningful relationships with our fellow FFA members and with others in our lives. Now, you guys, this is super exciting. Joe and I cannot wait to share this with all of you. We are doing a pen pal program for Wisconsin FFA. Now, what this means is that we will be able to connect with FFA members. So Joe is going to put a link in the chat. And if you go to this link, you will be able to fill out a Google form. Here, you're going to fill it out, and then we're going to partner people up based on their interests. So that way we can create that connection. So feel free to fill that out if you would like. Joe, do you have anything to add about our pen pal thing?
No, you're the first ones to experience and hear about it. So this is something pretty special.
Pretty special indeed. Yes, for sure. So with that, thank you so much for coming and taking some time out of your FFA week to join with us. We really loved connecting with you and getting to know you throughout this workshop. So please let us know if you ever need anything. We are going to put we are going to put our emails in the chat, and never hesitate to reach out to us. That's what we are here for. Typing and chatting is tricky. Yes. So feel free to reach out to us. But again, remember those connections and meaningful relationships we make are ones that stick with us and make us better leaders. So let's continue to do that. But otherwise, have a great rest of your FFA week, and we will see you another time. Thank you for coming.
Lonely. Can I get a connection? 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 Real friends, good friends, hard to find, let's face it.